This woman's reflection just stepped out of the mirror, but before that it had been whispering to her from beyond the glass. Our story begins with a woman who was cleaning out her late grandmother's attic. While up there, she came across an old trunk, and when she opened it, she found an old mirror inside. It was covered in cobwebs and dust, but as she wiped it off, the mirror seemed to get clearer and clearer. Then all of a sudden, she heard a voice. It whispered, "Get away from me." At first, she thought she was just hearing things. Maybe it was the old house creaking and settling, but then the voice spoke again. This time it said, "Don't trust me." The voice seemed to be coming from inside the mirror. As she stood there talking to the mirror, it became clear that the voice belonged to her reflection. And what was strange was that her reflection seemed to be warning her not to trust her. Then things got even stranger. The reflection started grinning at her. But when the woman looked at herself, she wasn't smiling at all. In fact, she was starting to feel really scared. The reflection in the mirror was mimicking her movements, but it was sinister and wrong. It was like looking at her own personal hell. Then the voice spoke again. It said, "I am your deepest fear." At this point, the woman wanted to smash the mirror, but something was keeping her there. Something was keeping her from destroying the mirror. It didn't want to be broken. She could feel its evil. And then the voice whispered one last thing. It said, "In 3 days, I will show you what I am." Then just like that, the voice stopped. The attic went silent, and when the woman looked back at the mirror, she saw something that made her blood run cold. The reflection in the mirror was no longer her own. Instead, it showed a horrifying vision of herself. It showed her with long, sharp claws and teeth. She was hunched over and snarling, and it looked like she was trying to break free of something. It was like a glimpse into some kind of demonic future. The woman dropped the cloth and screamed, "What does it mean? Why is the mirror showing her this horrible vision? Is she going insane?" Well, those are questions we may never get answers to. That's because before anyone could get any more answers, the reflection in the mirror began to move. It reached out a clawed hand and grabbed the edge of the glass. Then, bit by bit, it began to climb out. At first, only its hand was visible, but then the rest of its body began to emerge. And in a horrifying instant, it was standing in front of the woman, grinning at her with sharp teeth. Is she trapped in the attic with a demon? Or is she doomed to become the demon that she saw in the mirror? Well, the scariest part is that we don't know the answer. Because just as she reaches out a hand to try and touch the demon, the screen goes black and we hear her scream.